What's up, guys? Chaz and Charlie, and today I want to discuss what if you're trying to quit weed, but someone or someone's in your house are continuing to smoke weed. And I would like to start off, by saying this. I want to say that I would like to say that, it's just as easy as you trying to quit if you are by yourself. But I really can't say that. I will say that if you are trying to quit and you have someone in your home that or in your immediate vicinity that continues to smoke or is out on the same journey as you, it can be harder. Just like with anything, if you're struggling with alcohol and you want to quit that, or you're on drugs and you want to quit that, I mean, it is going to be a harder journey, possibly not in all cases, but it can be harder if you are still being subjected to the same environment. Because usually if you're trying to quit weed, you're also on some type of personal journey. You're trying to better yourself. You're trying to go to the next level in your life, not be dependent on certain substances. You're trying to handle your emotions better. You're trying to progress in your career. You're trying to progress emotionally, spiritually. And it is a bigger picture probably if you're trying to quit weed. And unfortunately, you're around somebody who, doesn't share that same sentiment. They're most likely not on the same journey as you. Because the big thing, if you are trying to quit, most people will tell you in any type of, support group is to remove yourself with certain environments that may trigger you. Because if you are trying to quit and you come in the house and somebody's smoking, or you smell it, or you see it, and you're mad that day or stressed out that day, it's easy to succumb to it. Or the ones around you may not want to take you seriously. Because another thing too, also, people don't like when you change. A lot of times when you're trying to change, the people around you want you to stay your same self. And for two reasons. It can either be that they just want you to be the same person, so because they're used to you being a certain way. And it also may be a personal reason, because they feel like if you change, maybe I'll have to change. So I don't want you to change, because that'll make me focus on things in life that I have to change. So, let's not change. In school, you always feel better if you fail a test. You feel better if somebody else fails with you. Nobody likes to be the lone person in a party. And it really goes both ways. Nobody, it's easier if you have somebody that's gonna quit weed with you, and it's easier to continue to smoke weed if you have somebody that's smoking with you. So, yeah. So how do we change that? How do we continue on our journey around somebody who is still smoking weed? So in an ideal situation, I would say I would try to remove myself from the situation. It is going, like I said, I would love to say it's the same if you're by yourself or you're with somebody. But, like I said, it can be harder. You could be dealing with your own personal struggles. And somebody could be also trying to sabotage you because they don't want you to quit. So if you are dealing with somebody who doesn't respect your boundaries, who will try to sabotage you, it may be best to try to remove yourself from the situation. You may can't immediately do that, or do it at all. If you're with your spouse, for instance, I'm not going to condone anybody to get a divorce because somebody smokes weed. I think we can work past that. But let's say you stay with your friends, or stay with a sibling, or stay with somebody that you by law you're not connected with. I would try to find somewhere else to stay. Now, if you are younger and you're with your parents, I may argue, depending on how old you are, you still may want to find you somewhere else to stay, but you may not be financially capable of getting your own place. I understand that, but ideally, if we had the opportunity, if we have the funds, it's best to try to remove yourself from that situation. But I also would tell you, on a journey, I don't believe, like I said, you don't always have that option, nor do I think you should allow that to affect your sobriety. Because ultimately, to truly conquer something is saying that I can be around it, it can be around me, and I'm not tempted to do it. Now, that may be different if you're, around it every day, all day still, and is your spouse or, your parents or your siblings that do it, and you're just, it's in your face more and more. That may be harder than just say around a friend every now and then that still smokes. But ultimately, we want to be in a position to where we can be around weed, smell weed, see weed, and not be tempted to partake ourselves. Now, let's say we are in a position that we can't, get out. Let's say if it's with a spouse. I think in a marriage, whether you guys have different views on certain topics, certain situations, certain categories, you should respect each other's boundaries. You should respect if one another is going on his or her journey. Maybe this is more marriage advice than weed advice, but you shouldn't let their decisions affect what you're doing. If you have somebody that still smokes weed, hopefully they have some respect to where they may go outside, or they don't smoke directly in front of your face. Or if they choose to do that, then maybe you'll take a walk. If they're going to continue to smoke in a house or smoke in your area, you'll say, well, I'm going to take a walk when you do that. I'm going to go write in my journal when you do that. I'm going to go do something else that occupies my time, so I'm not around you when you partake in this thing that I'm trying to get away from. So that can be a thing. And let's say, and I think the spouse would be the most trying situation. I mean, if it's your mom or your father, if it's somebody other than your spouse, you can just treat it as, I'm with this person because I live here and I can't move out. I don't have to be in their face all day, every day. So technically, we don't have to spend a whole lot of time together to I don't have to be in their face all day, every day. But also, I think your relationship, if you're close, it shouldn't focus on pure weed. If something like weed drives you apart, that's a problem. If you have a friend that, if you guys are not smoking, y'all have nothing in common, then that's the issue. Of course, if you're your spouse or your family member and you don't have anything in common besides smoking, that's a bigger issue. Maybe not a bigger issue, but I guess that's an issue that's probably always been there. But your relationship should have more substance than just weed itself. When I quit weed, my mother still smokes weed. If she comes over, she still goes on the porch and smokes, and but it's not a big. We can talk. Our relationship doesn't revolve around weed. When me and my wife, when I was still smoking and she wasn't smoking, I would try to hide it from her. So maybe that's a whole nother topic in itself. I was more so sneaking and doing it versus respecting her boundaries. I just kind of didn't want to be judged for still being addicted to weed. But whatever the case, I think there are ways you can get around not so much being in each other's face if one smokes and one does not. Now, also, you may say, well, what if they never change? What if, this is just a lifelong journey of me, me quitting, and, they won't quit? First of all, it's just weed. Like I said, if it's your spouse and you want to smoke and they don't smoke, let's take weed off this pedestal. It's not important to you. It's not something that you choose to not be tied to anymore. And if they choose to still do that, that's their own decision. Don't allow their decision to truly affect. I'm looking at this gate. I feel like that is a dead cat corpse in that cage. Because about a year ago, I smelt it in there over on the side of the yard. And I think they cleared it out. And I'm going to say that's a cat corpse, but whatever. Okay, that totally got sidetracked here. But that doesn't... And why people don't have... Come on, Charlie. Why people don't have their dogs chained up. People, chain your dogs up. You don't know who's afraid of dogs. You don't know who dogs are vicious. But I guess it's coming from the people who had a cat corpse in their backyard or whatever. Okay, let me finish with my point if I can. You guys can be on separate journeys and that'd be okay. And also, you may never know if your journey will affect them in a positive. You can't, let's say you may want your spouse or you want the one you're staying with to stop weed themselves. You can't change people. You can't make people do something they don't want to do. But the best way you can inspire change in somebody is to change yourself. So maybe you going on that journey and they seeing you as an example will help them take the needed steps in their life that they can go on their own personal journey. That doesn't always work. People are grown and some people are very stubborn. But I think if it is somebody like your spouse and you guys do have a healthy relationship, I think a lot of times, action does follow suit after, based on the actions of the other party. So, guys, if you are on this journey, you're trying to quit, you're in a house with somebody that won't quit, if it's your spouse, just tell them, don't smoke around me. Or if you smoke in the house, I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to paint a picture. I'm going to go in a garden. I'm going to yada, yada, yada. If you're with your friend and there really are no boundaries because it's your friend, then you might want to move out. If you're with your mom, with your dad, and unfortunately we're in a generation where some of our parents are weed heads and we're not, then you might want to move out. If you can't move out, go somewhere else and just come back there to go to sleep. Whatever the case, guys, what do you think? Have you guys went through this yourself? Because me personally, fortunately, there's no one in my household that still smoke weed. I mean, my friend and my mother did, but I don't live with them, so that wasn't the biggest issue with me. But I could imagine that could be hard if you are in that position. But comment below, guys, if you have any input on this topic. Until next time, please like, subscribe, share. Most importantly, please comment below. And remember, we are all in this together. Peace.